Did you know that winemaking is simply harnessing the power of nature? For centuries, people worldwide have transformed humble fruits into delectable wines. Imagine the satisfaction of pouring a glass of your very own handcrafted wine. Making your own wine allows you to control the ingredients, ensuring a pure and additive-free beverage. You become an artist, crafting unique flavors tailored to your liking. It's a journey of discovery, from selecting your favorite fruits to witnessing the magical transformation into a complex and satisfying drink. The best part? It's surprisingly simple and budget-friendly, requiring no fancy equipment or prior experience. Get ready to unleash your inner winemaker and experience the joy of turning simple ingredients into liquid gold. Fear not, aspiring vintner. You won't need a fancy winery to embark on this exciting journey. Most of the materials you'll need are probably already in your kitchen. Let's gather our winemaking arsenal. First and foremost, you'll need a fermentation vessel. A large, clean glass jar or food-grade plastic bucket will work perfectly. Make sure it's thoroughly cleaned and sanitized to prevent any unwanted bacteria from spoiling your precious wine. Next, you'll need an airlock, a simple device that allows carbon dioxide to escape during fermentation while preventing oxygen from entering. Sugar is essential for kickstarting the fermentation process and adding sweetness to your wine. The next step is yeast. These microscopic workhorses are responsible for converting sugar into alcohol. With these simple supplies in hand, you're ready to turn your kitchen into a mini winery. The foundation of any great wine is, of course, the fruit. The beauty of homemade wine is the freedom to experiment with a wide variety of fruits. From juicy grapes and berries to exotic mangoes and pineapples, the possibilities are endless. If you're doing grapes, a potato masher will work well in crushing your grapes to start the winemaking process. For other fruits, simply chop them into smaller pieces or pulse them in a blender for a smoother consistency. Remember, the more fruit you use, the richer and more flavorful your wine will be. Once you've prepared your fruit, it's time to address the sugar content. The amount of sugar you add will determine the final sweetness and alcohol content of your wine. With the fruit prepped and sugar added, you're ready to move on to the most exciting part, starting the fermentation. Now comes the magical part, bringing your wine to life with the power of fermentation. First, ensure your fermentation vessel is clean and sanitized. Next, add your prepared fruit mixture to the vessel, leaving about 1/3 of the space empty. Now, it's time to awaken the yeast. If you're using active dry yeast, dissolve it in a small amount of warm water with a pinch of sugar. Let this mixture sit for about 10 minutes until it becomes frothy, indicating that the yeast is alive and ready to go. Once the yeast is activated, gently stir it into the fruit mixture. Place your fermenting wine in a cool, dark place. Within a day or two, you should start to see bubbles forming, a sure sign that fermentation is underway. As your wine ferments, the yeast diligently transforms sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide. This process creates pressure inside the fermentation vessel, which is why airlocks are essential. An airlock acts as a one-way valve, allowing carbon dioxide to escape while preventing oxygen from sneaking in. Oxygen is the enemy of good fermentation, as it can lead to oxidation and spoilage. While airlocks do an excellent job of regulating pressure, it's also a good idea to burp your wine occasionally, especially during the first few days of vigorous fermentation. Burping simply means briefly opening the fermentation vessel to release excess pressure and prevent any potential explosions. Regularly monitoring your airlock and burping your wine ensures a smooth and successful fermentation. After about a week or two, the most vigorous fermentation will have subsided, indicated by a slower or non-existent airlock activity. Now it's time for a crucial step called racking. Racking involves transferring the clearer wine from the top of the fermentation vessel, leaving behind the sediment that has settled at the bottom. This sediment, known as lees, consists of dead yeast cells and other fruit particles. To rack your wine, carefully siphon the clear liquid using a sanitized siphon tube or a clean food-grade hose into another clean and sanitized container. Avoid disturbing the sediment at the bottom as much as possible. Each racking results in a clearer and more refined wine, paving the way for the final stages of maturation and bottling. With the racking complete and your wine looking remarkably clear, you're approaching the highly anticipated bottling stage. Before you begin, ensure your bottles are impeccably clean and sanitized. You can wash them with hot, soapy water, followed by a sanitizing solution. Next, invest in some wine bottles and corks or bottle caps. Corking might seem intimidating, but it's quite straightforward with a simple hand corker tool. When bottling, it's essential to minimize air exposure, as oxygen can degrade the wine's quality. After filling, carefully cork or cap the bottles, ensuring a tight seal. Congratulations, your homemade wine is bottled and ready for its grand finale aging. While you can technically enjoy your creation immediately, allowing it to age for a few weeks, months, or even years can dramatically enhance its flavor, complexity, and smoothness. The ideal aging time varies depending on the type of fruit used, yeast strain, and personal preference. Store your bottled wine in a cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight and fluctuations in temperature. A consistent temperature is crucial for optimal aging, preventing spoilage and preserving the wine's delicate balance. As your wine patiently matures, periodically check the bottles for any signs of leakage or sediment buildup. Remember, patience is a virtue when it comes to winemaking. Embarking on your first winemaking adventure can be incredibly rewarding, but like any new skill, it might come with a few hiccups along the way. Don't be discouraged. Here are some common troubleshooting tips for first-time vintners to ensure a smooth and successful winemaking experience. No signs of fermentation after 48 hours. Ensure your yeast is fresh and active. Check the temperature. It might be too cold for the yeast to thrive. Wine smells like vinegar. This indicates Acetobacter contamination, which thrives in the presence of oxygen. Ensure your airlock is functioning correctly and minimize air exposure during racking and bottling. Wine is overly sweet or dry. You can adjust the sweetness or dryness after fermentation by adding sugar for sweetness or water for dryness to taste. Wine is cloudy even after racking. Some cloudiness is normal, but if it persists, try using a fining agent like bentonite clay, which helps to remove suspended particles. Congratulations, fellow winemaker. You've successfully transformed simple fruits into a delightful homemade wine. As you raise a glass of your very own vintage, savor the fruits of your labor and the satisfaction of knowing you've mastered an ancient craft. Sharing your creation with friends and family is a joy in itself. Witness their delight as they savor the unique flavors and aromas you've crafted. Remember, winemaking is a journey of continuous learning and experimentation. Every batch presents an opportunity to refine your skills and create a wine that truly reflects your unique taste. Making your own wine is more than just a hobby, it's a way of life. It's about embracing a simpler, more sustainable approach to living, connecting with the natural world, and taking pride in creating something truly special with your own two hands. By joining the DIY revolution, you're becoming part of a growing community of makers, creators, and experimenters who are challenging the status quo and rediscovering the joy of homemade. Share your winemaking experiences with others, exchange tips and recipes, and inspire those around you to embrace the power of DIY. Cheers to a future filled with homemade goodness and the joy of sharing your creations with the world. Please consider subscribing to our channel and liking our video, as we are a new channel and this would help our channel grow. Thank you for watching.